optometrist working in government sector Goa and now pursuing my fellowship in strabismus management from Indian Academy of Optometry, Coimbatore. Today, I am going to demonstrate you all on how to identify squint or the strabismus based on direction of deviation, based on competency, position of corneal reflex and cover test. Before diving into the identification of squint, we'll understand about the strabismus. What is strabismus? Strabismus in simple word is a misalignment of the eyes in which both the eyes are not aligned and do not look at the same point of focus at the same time. Now, we will understand about the tropias and the fovea. In tropias, when we tell the patient to look at certain point and patient after looking at certain point, one eye looks one eye deviates inside, outward, up or down without covering the other eye, then it is a tropia.
In phoreas, the movement of eyes only appears when binocular vision is broken and two eyes are no longer looking at same object.
Now we'll evaluate this patient for strabismus on basis of direction of deviation. Here, just look at the visual acuity chart. Okay, this is a normal patient. If the patient has strabismus or misalignment of the eye, then one eye, that is the deviating eye, will move inward, outward, upward or downward. According to the alignment, they are divided in esotropia. One eye moves nasally as compared to the other eye. In exotropia, the one eye moves outward or temporally as compared to the other eye. Whereas in hypertropia, one eye moves upward as compared to the other eye, and in hypotropia, one eye moves downward as compared to the other eye. Now we'll see about the competency. How the strabismus is detected according to the competency. In this patient, we have to ask the patient to look at the target which we are showing for the patient. Okay. After this patient is a normal patient, as in this the angle of deviation remains same in all the gazes. In comitant squint, although the patient eye are misaligned, the angle of deviation remains same in all the direction of gazes. But in incomitant squint, the angle of deviation varies in all the direction of gazes. Now let us see evaluation of strabismus on corneal reflex test. In this test, I have to ask the patient to look at the torchlight, or you have to look at the torchlight. Okay. After shining the torchlight from 2 feet, I have to look for the corneal reflex in both the eyes. In this patient, I can see both the corneal reflexes are at the center, as this patient is a normal patient. If the patient has misalignment of the eye and that the patient is esotropic, then the corneal reflex is towards temporally. Whereas in exotropia, the corneal reflex is nasally. In hypertropia, the corneal reflex will be inferiorly, and vice versa in hypotropia. Of strabismus based on the cover test. This test is used to confirm the presence of manifest squint. In this, I have to tell the patient to look at the target. You have to let us now see the procedure. You have to look at the target. I will show you. Okay. With this, now I have to occlude the normal eye, that is the fixating eye, and see for the direction of the uncovered eye. Now this patient is a normal patient. Look for the uncovered eye. Now this patient is a normal patient, as there is no deviation in the uncovered eye. Whereas in esotropia, when I cover the fixating eye, the esotropic eye will move away from the nose, that is temporarily, to take up the fixation. In exotropic, when I cover the normal eye or the fixating eye, the deviating eye will move towards the nasally to take up the fixation. Whereas in left hypertropic eye, after covering the normal eye, the deviating eye will move downward. Now in left hypotropia, when I cover the normal eye, that is a fixating eye, the deviating eye will move upward. Now let us move on to cover uncover test. This test is established whether there is a presence of heterophoria and a type of heterophoria. In this procedure, I have to ask the patient to fixate at the target and I have to occlude one eye. During this test, I have to look for the covered eye and not the other eye.
If the patient has heterophoria, the eyes will be straight before and after the cover-uncover test. Direction of movement of eye tells the type of heterophoria, that is a covered eye. The eye will move towards the nose in the presence of exophoria and towards the temporal side in the presence of esophoria. Is an alternate cover test. Aim of this test is to know whether the squint is unilateral or alternate and also to differentiate concomitant squint from paralytic squint. According to the procedure, the patient has to see the given target and the examiner has to be approximately 30 cm away from the patient. The movement of the covered eye is recorded as the occluder is changed from one eye to other eye every 3 seconds while allowing the eye to take up and fixation. In presence of alternate squint, one eye fixate and the opposite eye under cover deviate and maintains the position of deviation on removing the cover. But in presence of unilateral squint, after removal of the cover, always the normal looking eye take up the fixation and squinting eye deviates. In comitant squint, primary deviation is equal to secondary deviation, while in paralytic squint, secondary deviation is much more than primary deviation. Prism bar cover test is an objective technique of measuring ocular deviation using either prism bar or loose prism. It is used in order to measure vertical and horizontal deviation. This test is conducted at near as well as at distal. The result leading from cover test will give you an indication of type of deviation and how the prism should be held. Base in prism for exodeviation, base out prism for esodeviation, base up prism for hypodeviation and base down for hyperdeviation. Patient should be measured in primary position first and then in any position of gaze of concern. Examiner should hold the prism bar over the patient deviating eye and starting at the strength lowest, that is the small strength prism first. With the prism present, an alternate cover test is performed. As the alternate cover test is performed, the examiner watches the patient eye for movement. If the movement is seen, the prism bar is moved to increase the power. Prism strength is increased until the eye under the prism produces no movement, meaning the deviation is neutralized. Continue the test until the neutralization has been established. To confirm neutralization, the next prism of increasing strength should produce a movement in opposite direction. Simultaneous prism cover test. The aim of this test is to measure only diplopia without dissociating the phoria. According to this procedure, the Hirschberg test is performed first to estimate the approximate size of tropia. The test is performed by covering the fixating eye and at the same time prism is placed in front of the deviating eye. The test is repeated using increasing prism power until the deviated eye no longer shifts. The power of the prism with which the deviating eye does not show any movement or refixating shift equals diplopia.